Hi everyone, it's Nina, and I'm here today with Neat and Tangled. Today is day number 3 of our November release, and I am showcasing the Christmas journaling stamp set. This is a beautiful stamp set that has all sorts of really great big lettering that has all sorts of different holiday themed words in it. I'm going to be using the words Savior and Born to spell out a sentiment that says a Savior is born. I've already set up my big letters here, and I'm gonna be stamping them with Versamark ink onto my watercolor panel here. I'm gonna go ahead and start the first process of my stamping and heat embossing. I'm gonna be stamping these letters in gold embossing powder. I'm gonna be using the Ranger Princess Gold. Make sure I get good even impression. I'm using my Misty stamping tool here. Now that I've heat embossed the gold, I've got that all heat embossed onto my paper. I'm taking the two smaller letters, which are A and Is. I'm going to be stamping them on the insides of the O's of my card here. So now my sentiment, of course, will read the A Savior is Born. I stamped that and then heat embossed it with silver embossing powder, and now I'm going back over, and because I'm using the Misty tool, I'm getting perfect placement, and I'm able to double stamp and then double emboss those two words, which makes the sentiment have a nice little bit of a raised edge on the A and Is part and helps it stand off of the whole sentiment. So I'm starting my ink blending. I started off with milled lavender there as the first coat, and I'm adding some water over top, just making sure I get some nice little water droplets on here, and then I'll go ahead and dab that off with a paper towel and then go ahead and dry that with my heat gun. Taking some shaded lilac, I'm now adding that over top of the milled lavender. I'm going to go ahead and add that all the way around. I like layering colors on top of each other like this and going and adding the water and then heat setting it before I add a new color. I think it helps grab some more definition and saturation to your color, because you're not getting the colors to blend so much because they're kind of heat set. So things are staying on top of each other rather than mixing, and it helps keep your colors a lot more vibrant, and yet you still get that variation in color, which is really great. So with Dusty Concord, I'm adding in some darker coloring, and I love how these three colors mix together. The milled lavender is more of a warmer purple, but it mixes really well with the shaded lilac and Dusty Concord and faded off into the middle of my panel here very nicely. So after I got all that Dusty Concord put on, I'm taking some more water and I'm flicking that onto my panel. Go ahead and dab all that off, and then I'll dry it just as I did with all the other layers. With some more shaded lilac, I'm going back in and adding in some more color. Just putting some more definition and saturation to those edges. And again, I'm not going all the way into the middle because I want the color to fade off towards the center and let that sentiment stand out nice and bright. So I'll dab off all that color and then go ahead and heat set that. And one last layer, I'm applying a tiny bit more of Dusty Concord, and I'm not going to do much more with that. I'm just going to kind of quickly add it to the bottom and let it go. With some enamel accents, I'm adding some little snow to my little trees and to the rooftops of my houses. This stamp, I didn't mention, is from one of these Neat and Tangled's past stamp sets. This is Winter Wishes, and I stamped this background and the trees and houses with some Versamark ink, and then I just applied some silver embossing powder over top. Once that dried, I'm taking some Nina Solar White cardstock cut to an A2 size card base, and I'm going to be attaching this panel onto the front of that, just like that. So now I've cut some craft foam here. I'm going to be attaching this to the back side of my panel. I like using craft foam when I'm popping panels up off my cards because it gives a nice firm and even coverage behind my panel and helps it from getting warped and sinking into itself, which I really like. It goes through the mail so much better. And that's going to do it. So I hope you've enjoyed. Be sure to stop over at my blog where I have a complete list of supplies used, as well as more information and pictures. And if you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows that you want to see more from me. And be sure to also stop back tomorrow for day number 4 of the Neat and Tangled November release. Thanks so much for stopping by.